Here we go.
Well, hello there, you amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful, amazing, beautiful, beautiful people. I kind of purposefully pushed the boundary on that slightly because I know that it annoys the trolls. You know, them people who you try and say nice things to, and they're like,
oh, that's freaky. That's creepy, that is, mate. That's creepy. Stop it. Can't even watch you because you do that.
You're just jealous. You're just jealous that I can't get hold of you and give you a big mushy kiss. You fucker. Anyway, shall we get straight into the meat and potatoes? As look, we've got to talk about something, and that is the Brian Kohberger situation and the trial. Because what we've seen is, off the back end of the Idaho 4 situation and Brian Kohberger being awarded, we say awarded because I do at this point class it as a win, even though there's something in the back of my mind niggling at me. It's a win. It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be. It's got to be a win. And people lose their fucking mind when you say that because they're like,
oh, this is sick, this is, I can't even watch this channel. Can't even watch this channel because you're supporting a killer. You are supporting a killer. And you are disrespecting the families.
No. What I'm doing over here is I am somebody who believes in systems operating correctly. So when someone comments and they're like,
the families, how is this the families, how is this good for the families? I hope that the state is going to be paying for the families to all have hotels and paying for their food, paying for everything, paying for their fuel and making sure that they're alright.
I'm thinking to myself, look, some people have got a really skewed viewpoint on how the law works and what the law is all about. They do. What you've got to consider this is when someone does a crime, so someone kills somebody, right? The governments, they're the ones who are set that killing people is something that you can't do. You can't do. We've got laws in place that says thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. And if you do, then you're going to get punished for it. Now, it's not anything, and I know this is a bitter pill to swallow, mate, but it's got fuck all to do with the families. The process of law, the process of the acquisition of justice and truth has nothing to do with the families of those who lost their lives. Now, don't get me wrong, the byproduct of a solid system that operates properly, the byproduct of that is that the families of the victims will get justice. They will get to know that the person who has done the heinous act that has affected them has been punished for it. They have been found, they have been punished, and most importantly, they will not do it again. And that's why it is so important for this system to operate correctly, to operate without faults, because where there are faults, people get charged and they get even executed for stuff that they have not done. We have seen and touched on cases that Innocence Projects have got hold of, and they have overturned convictions because they were simply wrong. People make mistakes. We are all human. Whether you wear a badge or not, you are a human and you can make mistakes. Your judgment can be affected by bias, by just having this tunnel vision, confirmation bias. We've seen it. We've seen situations where certain things can impact hugely how people perceive things. And it's like you see it in the comments. You see it when people, they will have made their mind up, right? It's like some people, listen, and I'm not picking on you on purpose, but think about the people who believe Brian Kohberger is guilty. They don't seek anything that proves them wrong. They only seek further validation that Brian Kohberger is guilty. And even in things that absolutely questions that guilt, they will completely ignore it, or they will try to twist it to further validate their own opinions. And that's why it's so important for this system, the actual legal process, to be completely separate from emotion and from all of these things that can impact the way that that works. So, as hard as it is to understand, the process of obtaining justice must not consider the victims' families, those that are left behind. Because when you start considering them, when you start thinking about their pain, when you start thinking about their loss, it puts a huge amount of pressure on people to get a result, to think to yourself, what do I do? We've seen it with jurors. We have seen jurors who have felt that, look, in Latah County, for instance, a very small-knit community. Could you imagine being someone on that jury and you're thinking, I don't think he did it. I don't think that they have proven that this accused person has done this crime. But I know if he doesn't get found guilty, the impact that will have on the community that I am part of. This is a real issue. Something that will happen, has happened, and is likely what has happened in the past that has seen people convicted for crimes they haven't done. So where I can see 100% that people might not be happy. The Gonsalves family, for instance, they're not happy. They definitely ain't happy. And I understand why they're not happy, because they've lost a child. And in their journey through this, they have concluded pre-trial that Bryan Kohberger is the person who's done it. So again, all they seek is further validation that they are in fact correct. We've seen it multiple times in their behaviour, and they're not alien to it. Do you know what I mean? This isn't something that is something that we don't see. We see it all the time. But because the Gonsalves family have been so vocal about it and they've got such a mass following, that is problematic. It is problematic. And we are getting a front row seat into exactly how confirmation bias works and what it does to you and what it means by way of not being willing to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. So the Gonsalves family, for instance, will be entering that courtroom every single day with a preconceived notion that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, and they expect him to be found guilty. Now, some people have reached out and they have said, we've spoken about it, and this is a dangerous situation, and that is that even if Bryan Kohberger, they are unable to prove him guilty, in the eyes of many, he will be guilty irrelevant of it. Now, he needs, if he didn't do this crime, and I need you to think about this, if he did not do this crime, they need to prove that he didn't do this crime. And that actually has no place in the acquisition of justice, because the burden lies with the prosecution. They should have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone does the crime. And then they are found guilty, they are processed, they are punished in accordance with whatever the laws of that state are, which in this case is execution. But again, I can't stress enough that we are in a situation where even if Bryan Kohberger is innocent of this crime, the vast majority of people will believe that he is guilty, irrelevant of the truth. Now, did he do it? Who knows? But I fucking hope, and people better pray, that they either prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it, or it is proven beyond a reasonable doubt that he didn't do it. Because that grey area in the middle, that massive void of grey, could destroy somebody's life who didn't in fact do it. And that is what I do on this channel. I try to open up people's minds so they understand that if you are going to execute somebody, that should not be easy. You should do absolutely everything in your power to be absolutely sure that there is nothing left unturned. Absolutely nothing. We are pointing the finger at people, saying how disgusting people are and how evil people are, and that they deserve to die, they deserve not to breathe. But yet, when you step back and you look at our own behaviours, are we creeping up on how bad those people are ourselves, if we're finding it that easy to execute people? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in video 2 later on today.